that? I didn't bring it. I didn't bring it, but it's here. Yeah, yeah.
Call this meeting to order. The first order of business is our financial statement. Any comments or questions concerning it? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve it.
There was something that was. Aggregates?
Chat.
Yeah, what's that?
It's chat. Gravel.
It's just something that we get.
Chat.
Yeah.
Rock.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was,
No.
I didn't know what it was. Well, I make a motion to approve it.
Need a second? All in favor? Minutes. Motion on minutes.
Make a motion to pass the minutes.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Judges report.
Make a motion to pass the judge's report.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor? And we have an invoice from Centus. That's the fire extinguisher company.
Those two extinguishers, the new ones, were they installed at City Hall?
2 new ones.
Yeah, there's two new ones on here.
tiny house or habitable within the city limits of Morehouse, Marion County, Missouri. Structure, tiny house must be anchored and withstand a minimum of 90-mile-an-hour wind loads. The structure of a tiny house must be placed on an enclosed permanent foundation of concrete, brick, or masonry. One structure, tiny house, will be allowed per lot. Storage buildings converted into tiny houses are not acceptable and must have characteristics of a typical home. Structures not built on site must be new, current year, and not previously lived in. Structure of a tiny house must be a minimum of 600 square feet. Structure of a tiny house must have its own meter, utility connections, water, sewer, gas, and so forth. Services from an existing structure cannot service the tiny house. Structure cannot be placed on a lot that already has an existing livable structure. The structure will require review by the Board of Alderman, City of Morehouse, Marion County, Missouri, and the purchase of the building permit prior to the structure of the tiny house being placed within the city limits of Morehouse, Marion County, Missouri. Section 2, setbacks. The front yard not less than 15 foot from the property line. The rear yard not less than 15 foot from the property line. Side yard not less than 10 foot from the property line. Existing structures such as sheds not less than 10 feet. Section 3, codes. Structure shall be subject to most current editions of International Building Code previously adopted by the City of Morehouse. The structure shall be subject to most current edition of International Electrical Code adopted by the City of Morehouse. The structure shall be subject to the most current International Plumbing previously adopted by the City of Morehouse. The structure shall be subject to the most current edition of the International Fire Code previously adopted by the City of Morehouse. Section 4, all ordinances or parts of ordinances incompetent herewith are hereby repealed. Section 5, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect after passage by the Board of Aldermen and approved by the Mayor. That's been read. Bill number 687. Need a motion for that? Unless there's...
Make a motion, we approve that.
I'll second.
A motion and a second, all in favor? Okay. All right, I don't have anything on any other business, board have,
Yeah, I've got a few things. It's been brought to my attention by a few of the citizens. This is not my ward, but on North 8th Street, there's a lot of concrete on North 8th Street, on that north end of that road, and trash. I believe I was told that was owned by Bobo. I don't know if that's correct.
I believe you're right.
But can he take care of that, get rid of that? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, he'd been trying to work with that as far as burying it,
Yeah.
or whether, as soon as it gets to a point, I'm sure we can keep on and they get it cleared up.
And also, a few citizens have brought it to my attention about his personal property where he lives, about it's getting out of hand, it's pretty jumped up. And he just moved in a new shed, I guess within the last week, wooden shed on his property. Don't know if that's too close to the road. I'm not sure what the ordinance says about that, but it's something that we need to address.
I'll talk to him about that property, and I didn't know he had a shed down there,
And that trailer's still on that same street. They haven't put any underpinning yet under there, have they?
so. On the end down there,
Yeah.
Marshall,
Yeah.
that's Bradshaw's property there. Have you talked to them lately, Jay?
I talked to him right after the board meeting,
Did you?
and they said they was gonna get some up, but there's been no progress. So,
That's up
one of the board members wants to write out a letter, explain, so that can be, just send them a ticket.
Okay, I'll do that. Heather, is it possible for you to get a printout showing the expenditures that we spent last year on capital improvements for 2019, and also the revenue that came in 2019 for our capital improvements? Is that possible to get that at QuickBooks? Can you get that and put it in my folder? I just want 2019. That should be pretty easy to do. I've been looking at those water shut-off reports that Judy has provided the board for the last few months. I noticed that, I guess, I'm assuming that a lot of customers paid off their bills 1 month because it went down from almost $36,000 owed by the city down to about $23,000 or $24,000 for that 1 month. Now my concern is, I haven't seen that jump, that $12,000 or $13,000 jump in our water collections the last couple of months. Is that something that Judy needs to kind of figure out for us to see? Because I don't see that $12,000 that we took in supposedly, that these customers paid us, it's been reflected in our water collections. So is that something that you can talk to her about, Pete? Ask her about that? Because I don't see it.
Okay.
And there's a lot of customers still on that water bill registry that's not paid. They're way behind, $1,000, $900, $800. So we need to cut them off, or they need to pay up. Last month, Heather was nice enough to give me some copies of receipts that the city had bought a few things. There was a 40-inch TV that was bought. Do you know where that 40-inch TV was placed? It's a smart TV, 2K.
That came out of a training fund for the police department.
Did
That
what?
was a training aid.
Okay, training aid for the police department?
Yes, we have a separate fund that money comes out of. Even though it reflects towards the general, it's not actually coming out of general, it's coming out of the police department equipment and training fund.
Okay. Where's that TV at right now? Is it at the
It's at the police department.
police department? That's all I've got right now.
Carl?
Trailer house, we ever figure out what they was gonna do with that trailer house yet?
That lady called, and then when I went to call back, I can't get an answer again. So we've been trying to continue to call her back, and get her to call us back.
What kind of time frame do we have on that? I mean, we could probably get that,
I think April, August.
we can probably get that demolished whenever the crew comes in to tear down the other houses, I believe.
That's what I would think. And that's what we're trying to get all of her.
Just put that on that schedule.
And Bobby Haycox talked to me this morning about coming up here to demolish the houses. He said he'd been talking to Donnie, but with the weather, it's too bad. But he wanted you to know that Donnie hadn't forgot about us, and as soon as it gets dried up, they're going to make contact and come up.
appreciate you calling on me. My first question is to Alderman Hensley, since he represents me in Ward 1. Alderman Hensley, why do you continue voting to pass the financials knowing that Mayor Lehi is being overpaid according to City Ordinance 435?
I didn't see anything in there like that.
Well, a couple months back, I handed you, at the beginning of the board meeting, Ordinance 435. And it discusses the stipulations regarding his pay. Base pay is $75 a month. He gets an additional $25 a month for each meeting, city board and regular board meeting he attends. And then he gets an additional $25 if he attends the Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission meeting. And he no longer attends those meetings, but he's still getting paid as if he was attending those meetings. And I know that a couple months back, he had proposed an ordinance, but never brought it out and had you guys vote on it, that it would have took away those stipulations and just kept the pay at, raised it up to a straight $125 without having to meet any obligations. Reason I'm concerned about that is it's been brought to the board's attention for the past 2 years regarding stop signs here in town, that some of them have zero reflectivity or visibility. And that $300 extra a year could buy 5 stop signs that this town desperately needs. It's in the board's purview whether they want to continue voting for those financials, knowing that he is getting paid, that he's not going to the meeting. The reason that extra 25 was in there was for his time, his fuel, traveling to, it used to be in Malden, but now it's in Dexter. And I did notice that last month, you guys didn't pay the dues for Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission, so I'm assuming that Morehouse is no longer going to be a paying member of that organization.
That's correct. We don't use them.
So we're using Mitzi Dale now
No.
for all the grants?
We use her only if we do get a grant. The grants that are available can be written up by an engineer, they can be written up by whoever is leading the way to get that money. So that's the way it's been for the last several years. We've not ever used Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission. I do go to meetings, but I go to the United County Mayor's Association meetings. They do the same thing as Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission does. We don't have, we pay I think $100 a year, and that's voluntary that we pay for it, and we pay several $100s to Boot Hill Regional, which we do not utilize. So there's no need of paying dues to something that you're not using, that we haven't used throughout the years. We haven't used them. But I do go to all the Pneumatic County Association mayors meetings.
Understood. I think Boot Hill, the dues that we've been paying over the past 3 years that I've been coming to the meetings and looking at stuff, has always been around $294 a year. And their Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission, they're for economic development. And you guys are talking about annexing different parts of town in the city limits in hopes of getting a truck stop when 57 comes through here. Well, Boot Hill Regional, they're in the economic development. They want businesses to come in to these small towns in the Boot Hill counties because we all prosper when those businesses come in. And I think that it's just my opinion, but I think it's short-sighted not to utilize them when that's one of their main functions is for economic prosperity of our communities in this region. So that's my concern on that, and I'll leave it at that. My next question is for Mayor Lehi. Last month I asked you about which ordinance that Collector Green is using to base her shut-off restaurant. Ordinance 475 or Ordinance 547. Did you ever find out from her which ordinance of the two?
She says she reflects off both, what she said.
Well, I don't understand how, because both of them are in direct opposition.
Well, I know, but she said that she reviews both of them and said whatever, whichever one was the one that she could go by is what she was doing. So that's all I'm telling you is what she said.
Okay, understood. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right. Betty, you didn't get yours in time, but we're gonna let you go too.
Well, you covered it because I was gonna bring up the issue about the trailer across the street from us on Marshall Street. The drywall is now wet and curled for the underpinning purposes, or has blown over or come down or whatever. And, like I said, it's just the same as none at all now. And I personally have taken pictures of the property, which is my personal view when I open my drapes in my front door.
Yeah.
Last week, there was a washer and dryer out in front. And I was going to give the pictures to the board, and I thought better of it. I decided, that wasn't necessary, but you covered that when you addressed the issue about that trailer, so.
If you can, hang on to those, because if that comes to court,
Oh, okay.
those could be, you could
Well,
do those
I-
to Jackie, and Jackie can turn them in.
Okay, I can go ahead and print 'em. I mean, weekly, the view changes,
Well,
but weekly, it never improves.
yeah.
That's the best I can put it. But, like I said, in fact, I even was going to take the pictures over to Mike and say, Mike, this is what we see. You don't see it because you're on the other side, but this is what we look at every day. Could we together do something about this? But it's very difficult to find the young man at home. So, but like I said, you addressed it. And then that trailer there on the corner there, Cole and, not Locust, but Poplar, I was just, because that was brought up last week, and I was wondering what y'all were going to do
We've
about
been
that.
trying to get a hold of that.
Right, that's what I
think it's
understood.
been long enough that we can probably, when they come through, taking down the other houses, that we can go ahead and take them.
Okay, well, that's what I had. Thank you.
All right, that's all we have. Need a motion.
Make a motion with that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
On the property line, 15 foot from the rear of the property line, and 10 foot from the side.
We can expect that.